Hello, this is Michèle at Jasami Bookworm Podcast, and I am delighted to announce one of my favorite guests and yours too, Judith Bowers of the Britannia Panopticon. Hello, Judith.
Hello, Michelle. How are
Now,
you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm good. You are not here under the guise of the Britannia Panopticon. You are here as the author, Judith Bowers.
I am, yes.
And
Which is also partly guise of Britannia Panopticon, because as we all know, nearly everything I write has Britannia Panopticon featured in it somewhere along the lines.
I'm just waiting for a tattoo. Not me, but for one to show up on someone else. Uh, that's very, very true. In fact, the story, The Magic Lantern, you know,
Mhm.
big
Yep.
part of it takes place at the Britannia Panopticon, but not in present day. A little bit in present day. Tell
Mhm.
us a little bit about the story, but only up through chapter 12 because you've been enticing readers to buy the limited edition that's only has 200 copies available, then it's going to be taken out of print. And
Yep.
then, and then we'll have paperback and hardback available at a later point in time as well, right after that. So please tell us something about the first 12 chapters.
Well, essentially what happens is a girl from the 21st century called Sandy is transported through time through the beam of a magic lantern when she's staying at the Panopticon for a ghost hunt. And she falls asleep with all her school pals and she wakes up in the middle of the night and she's looking straight into the beam of the magic lantern and is zapped back to 1908. In fact, to the specific date, the 21st of December 1908, which is the night of a very famous brutal murder in Glasgow, which was never solved in 1908. It was never solved. And so she ends up meeting this group of ragamuffin boys, and together they try and investigate the murder because one of the boys' brothers also goes missing. And so they try and discover what's happened to Tam, the brother in question, and who murdered Marion Gilchrist. And they get involved with a detective. And in chapter 12, we pull in the most famous person in crime history who was very much involved in the case in 1908. And his name is Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, the writer of the famous Sherlock Holmes novels. And that's where I leave us, is when he receives a mystery letter.
You little name dropper, you.
I know, I know.
It's a phenomenal story. The writing is, of course, exceptional, creative, and it keeps you,
Thank
it's a
you.
page turner, page turner. Now, one of the other parts, an important part to the book is the cover. Please
Yes, it's
tell us
beautiful.
about the cover design
Oh,
and who did it. And
well, it was designed by Bebop Moon Designs, who do a lot of work with me in the Britannia Panopticon. They design all of our t-shirts for us. And it is a stunning design. It is like a midnight blue, purpley blue background with stars on it and a beautiful illustration in gold of the magic lantern and beautiful little illustrations of cogs and a little clock to indicate time. And it's just absolutely stunning. It's gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. And it's a special cover as well, because on a special cover with a limited edition, it's going to be in gold foil.
yes, yes, as yes, and a couple of other little special items, which can't wait to see, cannot wait to see. Now, on Saturday, the 2nd of November, you will be
Mhm.
signing these limited editions, and from what I understand, there's paperback books available as well because the limited edition is going to go quickly. It's flying, flying out. So you'll be there. Please tell us about the two launch times.
We have two launches. We have one at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, which is about, for people that have got families, because it is a family book. It's not just for young people or adults. The idea is written for anybody over the age of really 11, 12 years old. As long as you can read and you enjoy reading, There is a little bit of blood and gore in it near the beginning, but it's not it is actually a newspaper report from the time. That's just how they reported back then. So because it's for everybody really to enjoy, it's not just for young people or just for adults. Um, I've given it two time slots. So we've got one at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, which is a lot easier for people with families, and we have one later on in the evening at between 6 and 8. So we've got 2 to 4 and a 6 to 8, and I'll be doing a reading of chapter 3 during both of those launches. So I'm looking forward to that.
And I am too, and I have already heard them, and I've already read, as you know, from my perspective of working on the interior of the book, read up to chapter 12. I'm not going to let anybody know if I've read the whole book, because then they'll be wanting to know what's going on. However, I will say I'm very excited about the launch. We will be appearing there as as your helper publisher, and
Mhm.
very excited about it. I think this is going to be great. Now, I do have to put a little teaser in, and that this is part of a series.
It
And
is.
next year, what is the name of the?
Well, next year is the second part of the trilogy and series. Because although there's a series, it starts with a trilogy, and so this is the introduction. The first three books introduces you to all the characters, the premise, what a magic lantern is, how the magic lantern became the magic lantern with all the magic powers, etc. So the next book is called The Lantern of Terror, and it is a slightly different angle on the story than the magic lantern. In fact, it's completely different. You'd think you were reading a different book, except for you would have to have read the first book to understand a lot of what goes on in the second book. But yes, we go to a different place and a different time in the Lantern of Terror.
I can't wait. I can't wait. I can't wait for the first one. Then you can't wait for the second one. I feel like a child at Christmas time. You get to open
Oh.
something wonderful. So this was just the short introduction for our podcast, and I'm going to put you on the spot as I always do. Who would you like to
Mhm.
give a shout out to, Judith, before we end our podcast today?
Well, it has to be, actually, there's a few people I want to give a shout out to, but first of all, it really has to be my mum, who sadly passed away last year. I never got to see the book in print, but she's the reason why I have pushed myself to get the first book out in print this year and push it forward, because she was so annoyed at me that I hadn't done it while she was still alive, because I have been writing it since 2006. So it's nearly 20 years in the writing. That's the whole trilogy, by the way, not just the first book. So shout out to mum, because she has been my motivation, my inspiration, and the person that's been prodding me the whole time. And also to Bebop Moon, because they have shown me so much support all along. They haven't just done the book cover for me, but the girls, Becca and Debbie, who are Bebop Moon Designs, have also done all the videography for me as well for the YouTube channel. And also it was Bex and or Debbie actually who read the final draft for the first time. So she was the first person to read the final draft, which everybody else is about to see. So, I'd like to thank Bebop Moon for their hard work, their support, and their efforts, and my mammy. And I'd like to thank Jasami too, yourself and Jasami, for being such a great support and being such a great help and dealing with all of the editing for me, the proofreading, the dealing with the printers, and all the stuff that an author shouldn't really know about. you know.
We do provide
Yeah,
some.
worth your weight in gold. So you are.
Oh, thank you, thank you. Oh my gosh. At this point in time, I'm going to be really rich. Well, I have to do a shout out as well. I always like to. I like to give a shout out to all my creative writers who become published authors, because without them, Dasami wouldn't be anywhere. But I would like to be specific to you on this occasion, Judith. It's the creativity in the way you write, and it's such an enjoyable book. And I read so much. It's a little bit of a challenge for me to be intrigued and for it to be a page turner. And it definitely is, I have to say, in all honesty.
Well,
So thank you very much for joining us today.
thank you, Michelle.
And uh, I wish to put out an invitation to those of you for the 2 o'clock, if you can attend and get one of those limited editions, if they're still available, if they haven't been pre-sold already. And if they are, at least a paperback will be available, which will be beautiful as well, and you'll still enjoy the story. So this is Michelle from Dasami Bookworm Podcast. As I always say, I wish you a sunny day.